that the candidate who has the highest probability of beating the incumbent president, Hakainde Hichilema, is the 60th Republican president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa. So given the fact that we don't want to take any chances, the only and the most definite candidate that we could adopt was Dr. Edgar Chagwa himself, the 60th Republican president. The other reason is the fact that when you look at the presidency of Dr. Edgar Chagwa, he delivered on the majority of his promises, and economically the country was doing reasonably well. Even when you look at the issues of law and governance, we were doing reasonably well compared to where we are today. And there's this cry, this never-ending cry by the Zambian people for change of leadership at the helm.
John, there are reports that the former president is in court. A decision will be made by a court on December 10th whether he will be eligible to stand or not. Did you take that into consideration?
Of course we did. But when you look at the merits of that case, you will realize that that is a case that is not new in terms of it being before the courts of law. It is a case that has been taken to court on numerous other occasions, precisely 6 other occasions. And on each of those 6 occasions, the court have ruled that President Edgar Chagwa was eligible to stand in the 2021 presidential elections. So we don't expect the Constitutional Court to depart from its own decisions in the 6 previous occasions. We don't expect that. We know that as things stand today, the judiciary in Zambia has largely been compromised. We are cognizant of that fact. But we believe that the judiciary has not been compromised to the extent that it would go against the decisions that it has made on 6 other occasions within the past 4-year period or so. We don't think they would sink that row. If they did, well, that would be a new face, but we don't expect them to sink that row.
Now, from your statement, if in the unlikely event that the Constitutional Court reverses its stance and says that the former president is not eligible, then what happens to the Tonse alliance?
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we reach it. We can't cross it before we reach it.
But with all intents and purposes, Zambians overwhelmingly voted against him in the previous elections, and people are saying that with the power of incumbency and the resources of the state, the UPND and by extension President Hakainde Hichilema will be difficult to defeat.
Well, you mean the way the American people had overwhelmingly voted against President Trump in 2020 and then decided to re-elect him in 2024? Or the way the Brazilian people had voted against President De Silva and then decided to re-elect him? Or the way the Mexican people had previously voted against their president and then decided to re-elect him? The bottom line is that the fact that someone loses an election doesn't mean that that is the final verdict in the minds of the electorate. When they experience even worse leadership, they'll always miss what they have, however little it might have been. And that is exactly what has happened in Zambia. The Zambian people miss President Edgar Chagwa. They miss him to be at the helm of this country, and they miss the progressive economic policies he implemented. They, of course, miss a lot of other aspects. Not to say that he did not make mistakes when he was head of state. Of course, like any other human being, he did make some mistakes. But we have no doubt in our minds that he has since learned from those mistakes that he might have made while in office, and that when the Zambian people, I don't want to say if, but when the Zambian people re-elect him in 2026, then he will come back as a much better and a more refined leader with the wisdom of having previously presided over the affairs of this country, something that cannot be said about most of the other aspiring potential leaders in this country at the moment.
Tembo is the spokesperson for the opposition coalition group called the Tonse Alliance. He spoke with me from the Zambian capital.